welcome. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Of course. Happy to be here.
And we just screened The Adaptable Mind, which I had watched several times, but I feel so moved. It's so interesting. There's something so moving about it, so thank you.
That makes me happy.
Absolutely. And okay, so I have a bunch of questions, and I usually start with your foundation and your education and all of that, but I actually want to get right to the heart of the matter since we don't have a lot of time, which is, what are you trying to do with your films? Talk to us about your mission.
We at my film studio have a great team. You're gonna see some of them. I'm gonna give you a little. I don't do this alone. But we want to make provocative, meaningful, inspiring, powerful films, discussion materials, and events using the latest technology to do it in new ways to really have people think about the important things that shape them in our world. And so we're a film studio, but we also do this big event, Character Day. And we're always just trying to push the boundary of how to make people feel moved enough to stop their busy lives and think and evolve themselves, work on themselves, be mindful about how the way they're moving in the world and the decisions they're making and the way they're voting and everything like that. But one thing I wanted to say, that you said the film really moved you, and I've been thinking a lot about the word movie, that the word movie is like about moving you. You don't normally hear it that way, but it's like, I'm happy to move you. That's really what we're trying to do. We're trying to kind of move things forward.
Interesting. And actually then the next question that comes to my mind is, why film? Why movies? Because one of the times I watched it, I was actually just listening to it and I was having a different experience. And so you make, I don't know, how many films have you made? 28, something like that?
Yeah.
So why movies?
I think movies for me, okay, there's a couple reasons. I used to run the Webby Awards, which was a big event, annual event, and I would pour so much creative energy into honoring the web and people, pioneers in new and innovative ways. And if you were not at that event, you never saw it. You could never kind of try to sometimes we'd have 3,000 person events. I'd have amazing performers and people rappelling from the ceiling and movies. But if you weren't there, you weren't there. You couldn't experience it. Now, when I was making the Webbies, I made a film called Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit of Happiness. And
people have seen it.
Thank you. And that film got into Sundance, which was very exciting. That was my first film at Sundance. And it played at Sundance, and then it played at every Planned Parenthood event on the 30-year anniversary of Roe v. Wade. And I was just starting to think about having children. My husband and I were, and I was really thinking about the thing that many women question is, how can I make an impact in the world and also be a present mother? And I was really wrestling with that. And when I saw how that short film with discussion materials on the web, robust web materials around it, could live without me. So to this day, that film came out 13 years ago. That film still plays at places and it doesn't need me. And I love that. And I as I've gotten older, I'm interested in scaling my creativity. So now I have, I think, like 28 films that just are all playing at different parts of the world. I mean, I get my reports from my distributors and my films are just like doing their thing without me. That's so exciting. And so all that creative energy that I put into the film is still there and it will always be there. The fact that it moved you when we made it last year is super exciting to me. So to me, it feels like a really efficient use of my creativity, because doing this live event, which was an amazing experience, we're having our 20-year anniversary this year, and I don't run it anymore, but I still care about it. I really could not have continued doing that and be the kind of mother that I am, which is super important to me.
Okay, so that's a connection then to the technology Shabbat, because I mentioned it when I introduced you, and you also talked about it in, I think it was the making of a mensch, which I was watching
Yes.
also, and this whole issue of the importance of our attention and how we decide what we let in and how we use our attention. So would you share what this technology Shabbat is with our students?
Yeah, my family and I should tell you, I love technology, obviously, and my husband is a professor of robotics. We're very steeped into always the latest technology and talking about it a lot. But we were also feeling like we're just getting really distracted. Like I'm sure everyone feels, you're talking to someone, you're not really talking to them, you're not totally paying attention. And my father was dying, and I really thought a lot about time and attention, and what we only have a short time on this earth, and you better use it wisely. So my family and I, we have 2 kids, started turning off all screens from Friday night to Saturday night. And it doesn't always go to like the sun drops, but till Saturday early evening. And we're Jewish, we're not religious, but we do celebrate, we celebrate Shabbat. We have a beautiful dinner every Friday night. So every Friday night, all those screens go off, and we have friends over, and we have a lovely meal. And then Saturday is like we sleep the best on Friday nights. Saturdays, we do art projects, we play board games, we're in the garden, we're bike riding, and there's no phone, there's no television, there's no iPad. People are always amazed, like, do you don't use your phone? I'm like, no, we don't use our phone. And we're on our 7th year, and it's the best thing I've ever done in my life for my creativity also, not just for my sanity. That's been really important. But I feel so creative after those periods. I can't even tell you. I just feel like I'm completely replenishing my creativity, because I made another film. I don't know if you saw it, but it'd be great to show to your students, called A Case for Dreaming. Did you see it? And it's in my show, The Future Starts Here. Did you see any of that? So, and it explores the neuroscience behind what happens to your mind when you're daydreaming. And when you're daydreaming, you're often making unusual connections between ideas and thoughts, and that's where creativity comes from. So when we're without screens for a whole day and nothing to like distract us or stuff our face with information, we're linking unusual ideas. That's the only way I can describe it, because Sunday morning I have so many new ideas, and that really, I can track that back to when I started doing these tech Shabbats. And my productivity, the amount of films I was able to make because I take this time off has really increased.
Beautiful.